Here at the Masternodes, we are not making any claims as to income you may earn. Before entering any agreement, please use caution and seek the advice of a professional advisor, such as attorney or financial advisor.
Please ensure your own research is done before investing any money into the market.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to today's podcast. My name is Nestor Sanchez, and this is my boy Ryan,
What's going on, guys?
and we are the Masternodes. Like I said, thank you for joining us. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Spotify, and we're even on Apple Podcast. We have our website up. It's going to be www.themasternodes.com. And on that website, make sure to join that email list for the latest and greatest crypto news. We also have an Ultimate Cryptos Beginners Guide that we're dropping. So make sure to join that email list.
And as we usually do on these podcasts, we're going to give you guys the news of the week. So last week, I was simping a bit, but we saw Bitcoin break out of its bear run at above 42,000 and ETH hitting 2,700. So really excited to see where that's going to go. Colombia's first commercial bank will let users transfer money to crypto exchange. Until the adoption of Colombia's pilot program, banks had restricted money transfers to exchanges due to financial regulations. So like how you were able to use in the United States, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, to go ahead and purchase crypto from exchanges like Coinbase or crypto.com. In the United States, they were doing that openly. However, Colombia feared the regulations and the possible negative effects that could come out of purchasing crypto if they allowed their retail investors to do so. So instead, they waited a bit. They set up a pilot program where they allowed, I believe it was 11 different exchanges based out in South America or like Spanish related crypto exchanges. And they put them in a list. And basically, the first bank to allow it to happen was the Banco de Bogota, will allow bank customers to send and withdraw money from a Chilean crypto exchange, Buddha.com, starting this month. So we're really excited to see how that's going to play out in the next coming months. Another announcement that came out this week is the CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, recently announced they will continue to invest in their digital asset strategy despite the recent bear and potential bull market. In a recent statement in the MicroStrategy Q2 earnings announcement, Michael Saylor stated, "We continue to be pleased by the results of the implementation of our digital asset strategy." He added that going forward, we intend to continue to deploy additional capital in our digital asset strategy. So like Nestor, how do you, with all this news going on, like how do you feel about it?
I actually feel that it's good. It's a lot of positive news, at least right now. In the last few months, we've been hearing a lot of FUD, a lot of fear in the markets, a lot of I don't know what's going to happen, and this is kind of bringing us to a point where we're like, okay, El Salvador was kind of like the first to bring it up as legal tender, and now we're seeing other countries and other companies following suit with, we have them, and like Ethiopia is also joining in a bit. And it's pretty cool there. El Salvador was kind of like the first domino to just drop over and started tumbling all the other ones. We don't, with emerging markets and newer markets, as a country, you don't want to be last. So we're going to see a lot of people kind of rev up these institutional regulations to kind of compete with other countries, because like I said, if you're kind of late to the party, then all the rewards and stuff have gone to the other people. So it's pretty interesting to see that, and we're seeing it with MicroStrategy as well. So it's not just countries, but businesses. They're actually going to start following suit and investing into Bitcoin, putting it on their balance sheet, just things of that nature. And once we have those big institutions investing, then we're going to see it a lot in Bitcoin's price and a lot in Bitcoin's adoption overall, because more companies are going to start accepting it, and it's going to be a really fun ride to see from now on.
But you would also say that there's a lot of pressure coming out of them or coming from these companies and regulators, correct?
Yeah, definitely. So like, we have all these rules and regulations that big companies have to follow because, they're actually publicly traded and stuff. So we kind of have to jump through those laws and loops, make sure everything's correct on that standpoint. And because we have kind of like public investors, they want to make sure that they're absolutely sure that Bitcoin is like the real deal. So they're getting really like into the nitty gritty of it and testing to make sure that Bitcoin actually stays alive.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. On the topic of pressure, my favorite analogy comes from my sister's boyfriend, Tyler Dorsey. Shout out to him. He's a GIA certified gemologist, and his IG is TKD Customs. So hit him up for all your gem questions. But my favorite analogy actually comes from him, where it's diamonds form under pressure. And you have all this pressure from outside regulators and big corporations, and we want to see this pressure, because if everyone just accepts cryptocurrency and there are major flaws, we're kind of just dooming ourselves, so
Yeah.
so we want this pressure. We want to see these diamonds or these cryptos form over time and solidify, so that way they're solid, they're ready to go, there's no problems, and they're ready for the retail market. But
Mhm.
time will tell. We never know where things are going to go. This is a new and emerging market, so there's always ups and downs, but it's all about riding it out for the long run. But
Mhm.
before we jump into today's video, if you haven't already, click the link provided on the screen to watch episode 2, What is Cryptocurrency, Part 1. Assuming you already watched the video, let's jump into today's topic. What is cryptocurrency numero dos? I'm going to let my boy Nestor kick it off for y'all.
Yeah, so yeah, episode 2 is great. You guys definitely should go watch that if you haven't already, and kind of get the gist of what we're gonna go over now. We're gonna kind of hop into like the nitty gritty, the of blockchain, about cryptography, all that good stuff that you guys kind of need to learn about, and we're just gonna hop into that right now. So we're gonna talk about a blockchain technology. This is the revolutionary technology that Bitcoin was actually founded on and was created with Bitcoin. And it's also known as distributed ledger technology, simply because it actually doesn't have one central ledger. The ledger is actually distributed throughout all the nodes, and they all have the same exact information at the same exact time. So we can trust each and every node, and there is no problems with that. But with a centralized system, such as a bank, they would basically have all the information on one server, and all the transactions that were to happen are on that server. And it's one centralized bank, such as Bank of America or Chase, and they have all that in that one system. So if I were a hacker, I would just need to focus my entire power hacking time onto that specific server. And with the decentralized alternative, you would actually need to focus, your power and all that stuff on 51% of all existing nodes. So that would be a ton of power, a ton of electricity, and a ton of money that not a lot of people actually have access to. Like, and I say that because not everyone is a trillionaire, because they would need so much money to just overtake Bitcoin's technology, that in order to kind of hack or to try and create a fraudulent transaction. So that's why it's kind of like a better alternative than the centralized system. Basically, one person does not have complete control over the ledger. It's more handled by the community, and the ledger is distributed to all of the participating nodes with transparency in mind, to allow everyone to view the updated transactions in real time. So you may think, oh, all my information is out there on the ledger. How is my information actually going to be safe?
Yeah, and a lot of blockchain developers at the time when blockchain technology was growing, they had this in mind. So what they did was they came up with what is known as cryptography. It's the practice of converting original text to scrambled text and vice versa, using an encryption and decryption algorithm. For example, let's say Juan owes Miguel a lot of money and does not want his wife to find out. Juan can conduct a transaction between himself and Miguel over a public blockchain anonymously due to the cryptography algorithm established in the blockchain. What the algorithm does is it takes original code for the transaction, encrypts the data and scrambles it, sends the code up the blockchain. The blockchain then delivers it to the address that it was sent to. The wallet of the address then decrypts the scrambled data, receives the original transaction code, and then receives the money that was sent. This all keeps it anonymous and doesn't allow anyone to track where the money is being sent from and who the money is being sent to. What I hear a lot is cryptography may protect my personal information, but how is cryptocurrency safe?
Yeah, that's absolutely great question that you should always be asking, especially when investing to assets such as cryptocurrency. You want to make sure that your assets are protected and you are protected, because, whether you're using it for a savings account or for retirement, these are both kind of very important, to have your money stable, to have it safe. So with cryptocurrency, you actually don't need to trust anybody on the network because you can actually verify with the blockchain. So people say it's a trustless system because whether I met you a day ago or a year ago, I can check on the blockchain to make sure that any money that you have is actually good and it's on the blockchain. So because of the blockchain technology, you're able to see any transactions that occur in real time in the network to avoid any potential scams or even just to make sure that the funds were actually sent. So these nodes that are in the blockchain that make up the blockchain, they actually use up a lot of electricity and are a large upfront investment. So if you wanted to become a miner, you would need ASICs, which are used for mining, and you would need a place to put them all. You would need a lot of electricity and big space, obviously. So you would need to have all these upfront investments. And if you were to spend all this money, this upfront money, just to mine cryptocurrency, would it be in your best interest to try and make a fraudulent transaction? Because miners are rewarded for actually helping the network. If they attack the network, not only would it not work, but it would cost an excessive amount of money and electricity and time, So it's probably not in your best interest to go against the network that you're actually providing for. And what I just explained was how proof of work actually keeps your crypto safe. But not all cryptocurrencies run on the same protocol. There's Cardano, Tezos, Ethereum too that run on different protocols.
Yeah, and they run on what's known as proof of stake protocol. The way proof of stake protocol works is that a person can validate block transactions if they stake or lock up their cryptocurrencies in the protocol. Members are rewarded with newly minted coins for their staking and are validating successful transactions, and are penalized if they attempt to attack the network, go offline, or fail to validate the network. Validators are chosen based on an algorithm and can also be based on how many coins they hold. So when it comes to proof of stake, always remember, nodes are key to keeping up the network. Another question I get a lot is, why is decentralization important? Like, why should I decentralize something?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like this is new technology, like we kind of stated before. This whole blockchain stuff, it's actually made decentralization possible. So there's tons and tons of different things that you could do with decentralization. And we see it in all these different types of coins, right? We have Batcoin, Cardano, we have Ethereum Compound, and these all kind of serve different purposes. And overall, what decentralization does, it creates more security. So because there is no one point of failure, there's no one server, then that means that multiple nodes actually have that information, which keeps that information even more safe. And it also cuts out the middleman. So you're going to end up paying less in fees because when I'm sending transactions, I'm sending it directly to the person rather than sending it to a bank, which sends that to another bank, which sends that to a person. So we're kind of eliminating that middleman, which is going to save us money at the end. And it's also going to be more secure as well. It runs on its own accord according to its software, which means that it runs by itself, completely by itself. And no one can just change the rules when it doesn't help them. So if it doesn't fit their needs, no one can be like, oh, I'm just going to change the rules so that, I can get more money off of this and stuff like that. They would actually need everybody's consent, from the miners to the people owning it to the developers. They would all need to be in consent or else it won't work out for them. And it also keeps everybody honest. Everybody knows the rules and no one can cheat. So because of that, now I can trust the other person on the other end without having to, worry about my information, worry about all these things, because I know the rules and I know that he cannot basically screw me over. So what's pretty crazy that, with all these strict rules, all these strict codes that Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies follow, it still fluctuates so wildly.
Yeah, and with the fluctuation, for those of you that don't know, that's known as volatility. Volatility is a drastic movement of asset prices over a certain amount of time. Some key factors that fuel a volatile market are new and unregulated markets, low liquidity, and speculation. Speculation is a huge factor and why the cryptocurrency market is rarely stable and the price always fluctuates over a certain period of time. When dealing with volatile markets, you're able to manage your risk by getting the average price of the asset that is constantly appreciating. The way to do this is through dollar cost averaging. It is a strategy that lets you consistently add to your position while getting the average cost. For example, let's say you have $1,200 and you want to acquire some crypto. So instead of investing all $1,200 at once, you invest $100 every month. By the end of the year, you now have the average cost of the asset. Most investors invest for the long term. 10 years is the usual wait time. With this mindset, you will be less worried about the day-to-day price and corrections of cryptocurrency and more worried about the long-term growth of your asset.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Dollar cost averaging is kind of the way to go. It's, best way to manage your risk while also consistently adding on to it. So thanks for joining. I hope you guys learned a lot today. Remember to follow our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure to check out our website, www.themasternodes.com, and make sure to join that email list. We have a tons of great information for you guys on there. And again, thank you for listening. Make sure to leave a review or a comment down below and subscribe to our podcast. We have a lot of great things coming for you guys. So we want to see what you guys are learning, what you guys want to know, and just stay tuned with that.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please leave a review or comment and subscribe to our podcast. We also do accept any messages you guys have. If you guys ever have any questions, like Nestor said, we're on Instagram, Twitter, any social media you guys could reach out to us on. As we do this week, we're going to be going over the feature testimonial, which comes from our boy Thomas, also known as T Rico. If you guys want to go ahead and listen to him on SoundCloud, he
Yes,
does have a
sir.
SoundCloud. But testimonial of this week comes from Thomas. It says, when I first started, I had no type of knowledge on cryptocurrency in the market. I reached out to Ryan and Nestor, and they taught me how to short and sell and invest for the long term with crypto and other stocks. Their dedication is insane, and they are really dedicated to their craft. Again, thank you, Thomas, for allowing us to work with you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, Thomas, thanks again for that. Join us next podcast for What is Ethereum. It's going to be a great podcast where we're going to go over what is Ethereum, where did it come from, and how does it work. Remember, guys, have a great day and choose kindness. Try your best to make somebody's day today.
Cool. Thank you guys for joining. Much appreciated, and bless up.